Holy shit, Heyman kicks off Raw with a bang. Turns out the Bish is not back just yet. And is this the worst autocorrect of all time? We don't do dull weeks in pro wrestling anymore, do we? I'm Iain Chambers, and this is your WrestleZone Round Up. When WWE made the announcement Vince had hired his former fierce rivals as executive directors of both Raw and Smackdown, it's safe to say he generated quite the buzz. I, for one, tuned into Raw ready for change. I was very interested in getting a first impression of how Paul Heyman thinks wrestling should be promoted in 2019, but also if Vince would let him run loose. Some of my questions were answered in the very first segment, when we saw Braun Strowman on the entrance ramp charge at Bobby Lashley like a bull and crash his ass through the LED board. What did we get next? Two things we haven't got much of recently. Loads of pyro explosions and bad language.
Holy shit!
Some sweet camera angles followed and the moment was taken very seriously by everyone on the roster. The two beasts were stretched out and taken to the hospital. Some geezer on Twitter called Kyle summed it up perfectly. Well, it's never going to be easy to keep us entertained for 3 whole hours. But this is the first time in a long while that I didn't hit the fast forward button. I enjoyed a load of other stuff on the show too, especially the NXT Tag Champs, the Street Profits. Oh, which reminds me, the autocorrect error of all autocorrect errors. Someone in the WWE's social media team posted a picture to Instagram of the Profits backstage at Raw with the caption, "The NXT Tag Champions, AEW at Raw." You're fired. Oh, and I've got 2 words for you. The club. Consider me sold. Over on Smackdown, I'm back. I'm better than ever. Got a knack for making things better. Wait a sec. Despite WWE putting out advertisements that featured Eric Bischoff suggesting he'd be at Smackdown, turns out he wasn't. That doesn't mean that WWE is getting cold feet on the Bish though. Unlike Heyman, he wasn't expected to start as soon as possible. He's expected to come in after Extreme Rules and mentioned on the latest episode of his 83 Weeks podcast that he's in the process of moving to WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. So we'll have to wait a little while longer till SmackDown is better than ever. Better than that. Anyway. Still, we did see Kofi Kingston give Samoa Joe the middle finger on this week's show. Looks like Vince is loosening up a little. Let's just go back to Super Showdown real quick. The disastrous ending to the Taker-Goldberg match left a bad taste in our mouths, and no doubt in theirs too. The Phenom didn't have to wait long to get back in the ring to show that that match was just a blip. He teams up with Roman Reigns at Extreme Rules. Goldberg, however, it's hard to imagine the next time he could lace up his boots, but it looks like he might want one last ride. He responded to a fan on Twitter saying, the only thing he needs to accomplish is to erase the feeling he's had since his last performance. Interesting. Question, does Ronda Rousey miss wrestling? I think her latest YouTube video has the answer.
Babe, you know you can go back pro wrestling whenever you want.
Babe, I know that. I love you and I appreciate that. But really, I'm happy here at home with you.
All right. You ready?
Yeah.
Devon! What? Get the tables!
We'll testify!
Now, if you follow anyone on Twitter today, other than me, of course, cheap plug, make sure you follow at WWE Maverick. After stealing the 24/7 title from R-Truth on Raw, Drake Maverick jetted off straight on his honeymoon with his championship-hating new wife, Renee. He keeps uploading travel vlogs and they are getting funnier by the day.
I thought we could go see Mickey Mouse.
And that is it for your WrestleZone Roundup. Make sure you go to WrestleZone.com for all of your wrestling news, including full preview of Impact's Slammiversary this Sunday. See you next week.